So one of the things that like kind of hit home for me last week was thinking about giving out the surveys, and I think I was probably one of the only people that kind of expressed that I was worried about giving out my surveys and I wasn't excited about it. So I actually went to school, not the following day, but maybe like a day or two afterward, and like asked my students. I was just like, so on a whole, do you believe that your teachers at Carver care about you? And a lot of the kids were just like, no, I don't really think so. I mean, like, maybe there are one or two teachers, and without me, like, asking and, like, probing as to who those teachers were, they're like, oh, we think you care about us because you don't let us do, like, whatever we want in your classroom, and you talk to us and you annoy us because you want us to do your work. And I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, well, that's really nice. And I was just like, I appreciate that because I don't feel like the way that I communicate my care always translates to my students. It was really nice to hear them be like, no, we know you care because you do this, this, and this. They're like, even though it annoys us, like, we know that you're, like, it's coming from a good place. So, I mean, that made me feel more positive, but I asked a couple of different classes, and I mean, the responses kind of varied. There were some students that didn't respond at all, or some students that were just like, well, I do know two teachers care about me, but, you know, like they were holding back something. And it kind of made me probe to, like, make sure that I kind of followed up with them. So I took it upon myself to make sure that, like, I asked them how they were doing more often. When I saw a kid putting his head down, like, I made sure that I asked them if everything was okay before assuming that, like, they were doing something wrong. And it's kind of turned around the feel in my classroom, too. Just knowing that, like, I care about them outside of being in my classroom and doing the work that I require, but, like, I care about them as human beings and as people. So hopefully going forward that will kind of change the culture for the better in my classroom, and I can see some improvements with my relations with my students.
I'm going to skip over to Narda.
I think that our conversations the past couple of weeks have grounded me in my own values and bringing that into my classroom. One of the main things that I value is definitely like the mental health and just well-being of my students, and providing them with options rather than them thinking it's either like this way or the highway. And I think that has translated with like conversations that I have with them, like the possibilities that I have for them in my classroom, and just like really getting to know like their home situation and like their situation outside of school. And much like Adia, I was worried that they thought I really didn't care about them outside the classroom because all they saw was like me in the classroom harping them. But I think that has turned my classroom around, definitely from the beginning of the school year to, I mean, really in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah.
So, I'm going to echo Nardas a little bit on the, like, bringing me back to my own personal feelings. And I think, as I think back, like, on my whole TFA journey, one of the biggest things that, like, held me back previously was, I don't think self-doubt's the right word, but, like, my own just, like, self-criticism and realizing, like, I don't know if I'm the person or if I'm capable or I'm whatever. Lauren's nodding her head over there pretty heavily. And I know that, like, this has helped, but just, like, experience and, like, having groups like this and talking about, like, our role has helped me see myself as, like, a capable adult leader of, 17, 18-year-old students who are, like, trying to make their own decisions and, like, see themselves as independent human beings. So, like, seeing myself as the capable adult leader that they need is definitely helpful for me and for them because it gives our class direction, which is really nice. But the thing I've been thinking about since last time is the lock and key metaphor that the guy used, and kind of like helping that be a paradigm shift. It hasn't really played out in my class yet, but I'm trying to think about how I can kind of bring that into a vision that I have maybe even for second semester, or getting the results of the graduation test back in a couple weeks. I'll think of a way to kind of weave that into the conversations I have with students as they think about attempting it for the last time before they'd be ready to graduate on time. I think that's going to be important to kind of have our mindsets right for getting it done. So we'll see how that goes.